Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of the Mastercard Memorial Cup Recap Show. My name is Dominic Papa and we're coming to you live from the WE TV studio in beautiful Windsor, Ontario. And it's day 3 of competition of the Mastercard Memorial Cup, and it'll feature the hometown Windsor Spitfires as they take on the Seattle Thunderbirds. Spitfires going into this game with a 1-0 record. The Thunderbirds down 0-1 after losing their opening game last night to the Erie Otters, or I should say yesterday afternoon. A 4-2 setback for the Western Hockey League champions against the Ontario Hockey League champions. Erie looking awfully good last night, and they're going to be really tough to beat in this tournament. On today's show, we will take a look at some of the action from last night's game. We'll also have some reaction. Bill Kelso was on hand. He'll get us some comments from the players. We'll take a look at the remaining schedule for the Mastercard Memorial Cup Championship Tournament. We'll also take a good look at today's game. As mentioned, the Windsor Spitfires battling against the Seattle Thunderbirds. We'll have comments from both sides of the benches as they get ready for this game. And we're going to have a very special feature today. We're going to talk to the general manager of the Erie Otters, an outstanding GM at that. Mr. Dave Brown will be featured later on in this show. But right now, we want to get to the action, and we'll take a look at last night's game between the Erie Otters and the Seattle Thunderbirds. I believe I predicted a 4-1 score yesterday for the Erie Otters. They let me down a little bit. They gave up 2 goals instead of 1, but make no mistake about it, despite maybe some early chances there for Seattle, this was all Erie in this game. They dominated pretty good, really territorially on the ice. Erie came up with the advantage of the play, and it was their big guys for sure. Strome, DeBrincat, just outstanding. Fogle was very solid throughout the night. I'll tell you what, the young goaltender of the Seattle Thunderbirds, Karl Stankowski, this kid is becoming quite the story. He's just 16 years old. Again, he only played in 7 regular season games, and he's played all of the playoff games, and now the 1 game in the Memorial Cup. But you can see Stankowski right there, save after save after save. Finally, it took a power play in which I think Erie scores right there, another outstanding save. But here, I believe, is the power play goal that the Otters opened up the scoring. It's going to be DeBrincat right there, doing what he does best, put the puck in the net, right off to the side. It's just a quick release. Coach Chris Knobloch talked about him, how quickly he gets the puck off the stick, and right there, that quick shot pays dividends. Seattle did battle. It was in spurts. They tied up right there on that shot that beat Timpano, but really they didn't muster a lot of offense through this game. Again, just in spurts, the Thunderbird offense showed up, not nearly consistent enough, especially against a very good Erie Otter Hockey Club. The Otters go up 2-1 thanks to that effort there. Again, a nice wraparound sort of kind of goal as Erie again was in control of this game. Even the score didn't indicate what this game was all about. Seattle did tie it again there, but again, that made it 2-2 at the end of the period. That was a late second period goal. Great wrist shot. Timpano, again, really no chance there as a big screen in front of the net. But from there, it was all Erie. Make no mistake about it. The Otters controlled this game right from the get-go. There you see the captain, Dylan Strome. Again, these guys, they're stars of this team. They always say, talk about your best players have to be your best players. DeBrincat, Strome, the Radish brothers, they're always Erie's best players, and that's why they are where they are right now. They win this game by a 4-2 count. This is going to be, I believe, an empty net goal here. Yes, indeed. That'll wrap it up. The Erie Otters win this one 4-2. They go to 1-0 in this tournament. Seattle falls to 0-1. And we'll take a look at the scoring summary here in just a second as the Otters celebrate their victory. Here's the summary. DeBrincat scores in the second period. Enser ties it. Sambrook then makes it 2-1 Erie. Seattle ties it on Strand, who played a very solid game yesterday. Barzell and Gropp with the assist. That was, again, late in the second period. You thought maybe there was going to be a little bit of a game, but Erie, Strome, his first of the tournament. DeBrincat gets an assist, and then Girany from Sorelli and Maximovic at 18:41, the empty net goal. Look at the shots on goal, folks, and this is what I was talking about. Erie with 35. Seattle with 20. Erie was 1 for 3 on the power plays. Seattle 0 for 2. Timpano gets the win, Stankowski the loss, but I'll tell you what, Stankowski was outstanding. He doesn't make it as one of the 3 stars, but certainly deserved honorable mention. DeBrincat gets the star number 1 call. Barzell, the star player for Seattle, the number 2 star. Dylan Strome of the Erie Otters, the captain, gets the nod as the 3 stars. Again, the Otters open up the Memorial Cup tournament with a 4-2 victory over the Seattle Thunderbirds. A very solid outing for Erie, no doubt about it. Of course, our Bill Kelso was there, and he got some of the reaction after the game. Let's throw it over to Bill.
Thanks, Dom. Yes, it was a fantastic game yesterday, and here at the WFCU Center, the atmosphere was alive and well. Both teams showed themselves pretty good, but the Erie Otters do prevail, 4-2 with an empty netter, as mentioned, and again, a real good hockey game. It certainly sets things up nicely for Game 3. Spitfires will play tonight, of course, against the Seattle Thunderbirds, who are looking for their first victory. But in the meantime, we had some nice chats there with a lot of the players and coaches. Let's go to those right now.
I thought we came off to a really good start, had some good scoring chances. I was a little bit worried that it was going to catch up to us, not converting on those chances and them coming back, which we had a couple leads. A lot of character from them to fight back so quickly after we scored. But overall, I thought our team played pretty well.
Yeah, it was a lot more physical than what we're used to in the OHL. It's also Memorial Cup, so you're gonna expect that, and we just got to play our game and not get too focused on them hitting us or things like that. We just got to skate, do our thing, and just use our skill.
It wasn't too bad actually. I thought both teams kind of were more focused on what was going on the ice and with the puck, and there wasn't too much physicalness. So I think we were expecting a little more, but at the same time, they were good with their sticks and good in our zone. They took it to us, a bunch of shifts where we couldn't even get out of our zone. So it was a different game in that aspect where I thought it was going to be a little more physical, but they really held the puck well in our zone.
It'll be good to get back at it. I think a bit of our identity wasn't there at times during the game, and we'll correct a few things. Our guys, I'm sure, will be excited to get back at it. Good team over there, no surprises. They played well. Again, I think we have a few individuals that can rebound, and be good to have a real good quick turnaround here.
Yeah, obviously you're gonna have nerves going against good teams, and just it's gonna happen. So just take it and go with it.
I don't think so. I think everybody, after warm-up said they had their legs and stuff. I thought maybe we respected them a little bit too much tonight, but we just gotta, everybody's gotta know their role and play their game. So I thought we got off that a little bit tonight.
At the end of the day, Don, the Seattle Thunderbirds certainly have a lot to do to get back into the winning column. As they take on the Windsor Spitfires, they want to be able to get things tied up at 1-1 for them. The Spitfires, on the other hand, looking to really take control of this tournament and to go up 2-0. And it's going to be very interesting here tonight, that's for sure. Looking forward to it. That's it from now. Bill Kelso reporting.
Thanks a lot, Bill. We'll look for more of your good stuff on tomorrow's edition of the Mastercard Memorial Cup recap show here on WeTV. Of course, the Spitfires in Seattle will battle tonight. You have to wonder about Seattle. And here now, we've seen all 4 teams in this tournament, and you have to wonder. Erie, no surprise yet. Windsor, maybe to some a surprise. To some others, not a surprise. I guess we'll see how they play tonight. Before we get into that schedule, you have to wonder about Seattle a little bit. They had to fight hard to win that WHL championship, and you just wonder if there's any more in the tank coming into this Mastercard Memorial Cup tournament. Of course, the opening game, the Spitfires beat St. John 3-2. The Otters defeat Seattle 4-2 tonight. The Spitfires against Seattle. Seattle will have home ice advantage, so they get that last change. Tomorrow, huge game again. With the way things have gone in the first 2 games, it's really setting this tournament up a little bit differently. Again, a lot of people thinking Erie and St. John really the teams to beat, and with Seattle coming in maybe as the surprise defeating Regina. So you look at this Erie-St. John game tomorrow, if the Sea Dogs fall to 0-2, and if the Spitfires are fortunate enough to knock off Seattle, they go to 0-2. Boy, oh boy, you look at that Seattle-St. John game on Tuesday evening. This could be a game of survival because at that point, whoever would lose that game pretty much, well, they are out of the tournament at that point, going 0-3. So St. John wants to avoid that. Spitfires don't want to let anything get in their way. Boy, the games are so meaningful, so meaningful. But Seattle, St. John on Tuesday, that could be a game for survival. Wednesday, this game quite possibly could be a game for first place overall and an automatic berth into the Memorial Cup final as the Spitfires take on the Erie Otters. Excuse me. And then on Thursday, of course, that would be the tiebreaker game if possible. Friday will be the semifinal game. Saturday, again, the fun CHL alumni game. A number of players will be in town, former players, some NHL guys. They're all going to participate in it, so you want to get your tickets for that. And then, of course, the Memorial Cup final on Sunday, May 28th. I believe that is a 3 o'clock start for that championship game on May 28th. So now we're going to take a look at today's game. Of course, it does feature the hometown Windsor Spitfires and the Seattle Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds, let's look at them first. As I mentioned, losing their first game to the Erie Otters 4-2. The Thunderbirds, again, a lot of people now wondering if this team has anything left in the tank. And you look at the head-to-head records or the head-to-head stats up to this point between these two teams, how they got here, and things like that. The numbers look pretty even, really, when you look at their stats through the regular season. And the real interesting battle comes between the pipes. You have a 17-year-old goalie in Michael DiPietro, and you have a 16-year-old goalie in Carl Stankowski, and two young, outstanding goaltenders. Stankowski, again, having played only 7 regular season games, coming in to take over the reins after the number one goaltender's injured. And he has not disappointed. He's played outstanding, and he was very solid in the Erie game. He was not the difference in that contest. So the numbers look pretty even, but right now I'm going to have to say maybe home ice advantage might play a role in this one, and of course that would favor the Windsor Spitfires. We caught up with some of the Thunderbird personnel and got their thoughts about playing the Windsor Spitfires.
There's a lot of teams that come in and lose their first game. I think there'd be a little more panic if I thought we played our best game. But I think we had about 3 or 4 guys where I'd say that I was happy with what they brought. So if everybody gets their game back, I think we'll have a better performance.
We saw Grot move back up to the first line for parts of that game. What was the reasoning for that?
Trying to, again, there wasn't much flow to our game, so just trying different things. And, I thought early on Grop was skating with the puck a little bit and had a little bit of speed, so I wanted to see if that line together would make something happen.
You said all season that it's not so much about what the other team does, but more about you guys just focusing on your game plan. What does that mean for tonight? What are you guys going to do better?
Well, again, being predictable. We need to engage in some more battles, stop and start. Just, again, the other teams obviously have some say and what you do and how you play, but during the game and even rewatching the game, there was a lot of it where it was uncontested mistakes we were making, and again, we'll just move on, and I expect our guys to be better today.
Would the turnovers then be just even?
Yeah, it's the beauty about this tournament. You you get back on the saddle the next day. So coming off a tough loss yesterday, I think it's good for us. Just I know guys want to get back on the ice and improve themselves.
Talk a little bit about yesterday's loss. 24 hours later, you viewed some video. Just some thoughts on how you guys played.
I think we've talked about it. We didn't stick to our style enough. We didn't dictate the pace as much as we would have liked to. So, obviously credit to Erie. They played a pretty strong game. They played fast and hard. So we just got to respond tonight and be more desperate.
In a tournament like this, going 0-2, it's pretty tough to come back. I think only one team has done, and that was Spitz in 09. Is this almost a must-win for you guys tonight?
I mean, we kind of look at it like, every game's a must-win. We looked at yesterday like that, and today we're coming to the rink with the same mindset. Just, got to win tonight, got to go 1-0 tonight. So we're obviously looking to do that. It's a good team we're playing, so we got to come ready.
You face almost a must-win situation tonight. Can't go down 0-2. Does that put more pressure on you to come up with a big game tonight?
Yeah, I'm just going to stick to the same thing I do every game and just track the puck, and it'll be simple.
Some athletes thrive on pressure. Do you like pressure situations?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's what we play for. It's what we train for all year, and it's really fun.
You play the Spitfires. It's going to be probably capacity crowd, and it can be hostile at times here. You ready for that?
Yeah, I'm really excited to go.
They're excited, no doubt about it. I love the positive attitudes, and certainly you have to admire the courage of those young men. And of course, Coach Konowalchuk, a very accomplished coach, he'll have the boys ready. But again, my question is, you come off that big emotional win of winning the Western Hockey League Championship, and you wonder if they can sustain something like that. It's very tough. And you come up to this tournament where it even steps up maybe a little bit higher, a little bit more intense, and you have to find another gear. You just wonder if there's anything left in the tank for the Seattle Thunderbirds. The Spitfires, on the other hand, taking that first victory over St. John and certainly building on it, riding on it, that could only help the confidence of the Spitfires. There were a lot of question marks after not having played for 44 days. Were they going to be rusty? Was the timing going to be off? Things like that. I think they put all those questions aside right away. They came out with 2 very strong periods. Kind of fell off a little bit in the third period. They can't allow that to happen even against this Seattle team. And if the Spitfires want to continue their success, they're going to have to play a complete 60-minute game. We caught up with them and got their thoughts about taking on Team Seattle tonight.
We had a great dinner after a game against St. John's, and we kind of talked about that game, and next day we had a great practice. So, and this morning we once again had a good morning skate, and so watched some video, and yeah, we're ready. To be honest with you, I wasn't watching the game, so because I don't know, I usually don't, because if I see a team playing poorly, I'm gonna think that we're gonna beat them easily, but that's why I don't watch the game. So yeah, but watch some videos. They have some hard-working guys and some skilled guys, and the whole team is just playing. Not like us, but they work hard and they forecheck hard, they hit, finish their checks, and they have a great team. They won a WHL. They're WHL champions. So.
Coach, thank you for shutting Barzal and the Seattle offense down.
Yeah, just play hard. Good team defense, and he's a talented player for sure. Got to take away his time and space, and just be hard on him.
Yeah, it was great to get back on the ice after not playing for that long. We were gone for 6 weeks, so getting games back in, it was definitely exciting. So yeah, to get back in playing, and because these teams all have been playing, so they're in game ready right now, and we are too. But we just kind of had to get back into the flow of things, and now that started up, and we're gonna look to keep getting better as the games go on.
Well, we saw that they, probably the travel affected them a little bit. We believe that they're going to be a way better hockey club today than they probably were yesterday. Listening to Steve Konowalchuk's comments afterwards, they're excited about being able to get right back on the horse, and our guys identified that. We talked about it in the room. The other thing is we probably got a little bit of respect after our win against St. John, such a dominant team and a powerful team, that we're going to see the best that every team has to offer now moving forward. So our guys are prepared for that. They're ready for that, and we know Seattle's going to be really, really good tonight.
So the Spitfires sound like they are ready to go here tonight, and hopefully that is indeed the case. They'll have a big crowd there tonight, no question about that. Hopefully the place is close to being sold out, and we're expecting a high-level, entertaining hockey game between the Spitfires and the Seattle Thunderbirds. This is both the second game for both teams. Spitfires looking to go 2-0. Seattle trying to avoid going to 0-2. I'm going to predict, as I did yesterday, I wasn't too far off. I'm going to say a 5-2 score in favor of the Spitfires as they play a full, complete 60-minute hockey game at the WFCU tonight. Of course, the tournament is ongoing, and there's always a lot of great people around. And you look at the Erie Otters Club. Let's get back to them for just a moment before we wrap up the show. The Erie Otters, I think, showed a lot of people why many are picking them to possibly win this thing. Their lineup very solid right from top to bottom. Goaltending, people are saying the goaltending might be the weak link here, but make no mistake about it, Timpano can play, and he makes quality saves when needed. So it's a very confident hockey club, and the man that put them together works extremely hard, just like the hockey team, and he's done a great job. And they've been knocking on the door for the last 4 years, 450-win seasons. That's no fluke, folks. That's just good management, and Dave Brown leads that part. We had a chance to catch up with him and talk about the Erie Otters, the Memorial Cup, and hockey in Erie, Pennsylvania. hardworking GM Dave Brown of the Erie Otters, and boy, talk about an example of persistence paying off. GM Brown, your team has finally got to the Cup. How gratifying is all of this?
You know what? It's a great feeling. Obviously, 4 times, or it's being our 4th time to the conference final, and you know what? A lot of hard work by coaches and staff, and it feels fantastic. I mean, I'm really proud of our boys and how hard they worked, and we had a meeting before they left for World Juniors, and one of the message that Stromer said was that, hey, listen, if you make the moves that that can help us, then we'll make sure we get there. And that meeting still stands out for me as a time where the boys put it on the line and they followed through.
How tough was it though? You mentioned the 4 times knocking on that door, and to stick with it and believe in what you were doing and the direction you were taking this hockey club. Did you ever second guess yourself?
You know what? I think the first time we got there, we were happy to be there, and then obviously the next year losing to Oshawa in the league final. You win the Western Conference and you get to the league final and lose again to Oshawa. I think at that point, you're wondering if if this can ever happen. Obviously the next year we were a little younger, and it was our 3rd time to the conference final and came up against guys like Marner and Kachuk and an unbelievable team in London. And then this year, when we got Strome back, I remember being on a road trip in Saginaw and Flint, and I thought to myself, when we got the call from those guys, knowing that he was coming back, it was like, okay, this might be our time. I think a lot of the hurdles that we've gone through over the last 3 years helped us build through adversity, and I don't think there was a challenge that we've seen up to this point that we weren't able to attack and feel confident about doing.
You mentioned the moves. The one significant move was getting Cirelli out of Oshawa, obviously. How much has that helped the club? And was it that move that really solidified what helped this team accomplish with the winning the OHL?
You know what? It was a huge move for us. Obviously, giving up Alan McShane was a huge piece. We've been lucky. Our scouts have done a fantastic job of drafting and getting players late in the draft that have been impact players in our league. And obviously Alan McShane was a guy that we thought was going to do that. Adding Anthony Cirelli was huge for us. He gave us a locker room guy that was, I guess, for lack of a better word, experienced, grizzled veteran, but overall a fantastic person. And he adds to what you see on the ice is one thing, but what he adds in the locker room within our team environment and added to our already pretty good culture, I think was the biggest piece. I think with him and Warren Fogle, obviously the two of them came in, they became real good friends, sit beside each other in the locker room, and it's really been a big help. But we had quite a few moves. We had the 2 goalies where we added Tampano early before the season started, and I don't know where he'd be without him. And then Joseph Murdaka we brought in, and he was a big piece. Owen Hedrick on our back end that we got from Lake Superior. So we were pretty fortunate to have a lot of things go our way.
Well, you're a man that's true to your word, because I remember you told me during the season that we're going for it this year, Dom, and you told me that in Saginaw, and you made those trades. Obviously, it's paid dividends. The other thing you told me about GM Brown was Dylan Strome coming back after the World Juniors and saying how determined he was to make up, and the criticism that he received. How special is this kid? And boy, oh boy, obviously he is so focused, and boy, he's going to give you guys a good shot at winning this thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was worried. He was worried about, or he had talked about how guys kind of made fun of him for always being there but never being a champion, and I'm sure other guys on our team were the same, and I know there's a guy that likes to heckle us at the Bud Garden in London, and that's what he says. Hey, you can win all the league games you want, but you've never won the league final. So in the last little while, so you know what, it's been great. I think winning has been fantastic for the whole city of Erie and all the fans that we have down there, because they're such big supporters. But also, I think that for Dylan, I think it's something special, and it's going to cap a really good junior career.
Yeah, absolutely. being that the Cup's here in Windsor, I mean, it's not home, it's not Erie, but you're very familiar with this place. Does that help the team, and does it give you maybe a little bit of an edge?
I don't know if it gives us an edge. It definitely makes us feel comfortable. It's a beautiful building. Obviously, we spend a lot of time here on road trips. We'll sometimes base out of the Windsor area, so we're real familiar with the restaurants, the hotels, and whatnot. And I think there is a distinct advantage. Anytime you go in and you have, it didn't take us long to prepare the itineraries for the road trip. I think the only difference was we flew this trip, and usually we bus in.
Quickly, you mentioned the Erie fans. How have they reacted to all of this? And I'm guessing they're going to see a few of them here in Windsor.
I would think you see quite a few, but you know what? They've been really supportive. We had approximately 1,500 at a congratulatory rally sending us off for Memorial Cup there on Monday night, and it was fantastic. And I think anybody who's been to a game at the Erie Insurance Arena knows how electric it gets there. And you know what? One of the things I said when I started with Sherry 7 years ago was I'd like to get you back to the point where you were in 2002. And although he wasn't here to share it with us, I think it means a lot to our fans, and definitely, they're huge supporters of us, and I don't think we'd be here without them.
Certainly one of the good guys, Dave Brown, has done a great job with this Erie Otter Hockey Club, and he's got them loaded and ready. They will be hard to beat in this Memorial Cup tournament. They are back in action tomorrow night. We'll take a look at that game. Speaking of other games, let's take a look at the schedule. Of course, the two games that have already been completed. This evening, 7 o'clock, Spitfires Seattle. Monday evening, the Otters in St. John will go at it. Tuesday, Seattle and St. John. Wednesday, the Spitfires and the OHL champions, Erie Otters. Thursday is the open date for the tiebreaker schedule, if needed. And then Friday, the semifinal game. Saturday will be the alumni game. And then Sunday, it's for all the marbles. The Memorial Cup will be on the stage. And we will have a national champion on Sunday, May 28th. What to expect tomorrow, we'll have a breakdown of the Windsor Spitfires Seattle game. Bill Kelso will be filing a report for you. We'll also take a look at the Erie Otters St. John game tomorrow evening. And we'll have another special feature for you as well tomorrow. We've got a couple in the bank that we're going to surprise you with, so I'm not going to give any names out. You'll just have to come back and tune into the show. And our guest analyst tomorrow, none other than Toronto Maple Leaf assistant coach DJ Smith will be on the set with us to help break down the games and talk Memorial Cup with us. So it should be a good show with DJ here in the studio. That's it for today. Get set for tonight's game. The Spitfires and the Seattle Thunderbirds should be a dandy. Until tomorrow, this is Dominic Papa thanking you for tuning in. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody.